tell me about your journey to get to the place where you not just started a boxing club, but you were boxing.
My journey into boxing.
Mm-hmm.
I used to work in corporate, actually. So according to my parents, I had a real job. And working in corporate, I used to work in publishing. I was a creative director, and I had put on a lot of weight. I had the daily grind just took its toll on me, and I was battling depression and high blood pressure, high cholesterol, all the things, and I was just same thing day in, day out, day in, day out in the office it was literally like killing me. And I knew it was time for me to just find something because it was one of those days at the office where I just needed to leave the office. It was in everyone's best interest that I leave and just take a walk.
I know publishing intimately, and it's one of the whitest places I've ever been in. And I didn't work for them. I had my own publishing house with Ann Simon and Schuster. But Lord have mercy, to work there every day, the people that work there every day, I was like, ha ha.
Yeah.
I was like, get out if you can.
Exactly.
And a lot of us work in places like that are soul stealing, and we have, it's draining, but also the sedentary way in which you don't get a lot of time, because if you're good at what you do, all of the work piles up. And I find myself, even now, it's the biggest battle that I have is getting up, because now it's like I'm stuck researching or writing or editing and posting and podcasting, and it's just you're sitting. Yeah,
You're not moving.
And it's bad.
It's bad. It's very, very bad for you. And what happens is you have the titles, you have the responsibilities, you have the job, you're making the money, and time, it's just going and going, and everything's moving. I felt like everything was moving around me, but I was stuck. I had become stagnant, and it was just time. I was like, oh, this is not healthy. Like mentally, I was not in a healthy place.
So you left the office that day?
Yeah, I just went for a walk. I said, I gotta get away from these people, And I went for a walk, and I just walked a couple blocks from my office, and I walked past his boxing gym, and something just told me just to go check it out. And when I went upstairs, it was on the second floor, and I could smell the stench from the gym just by talking about it, and I could hear, pounding on the back, bah, 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 bah. I could hear it. It was kind of music to me, even in the state that I was in. And I said, let me just go check this out and see what it's about. So when I went up into the gym, I stood in the doorway and I froze. I was like a deer in headlights because there were no women in the gym. There wasn't one. And the guys in the gym, they were all just like what is she doing here? And I'm like, I don't know. Watching, exactly. And so I just stood in the doorway. I was literally kind of just frozen. And I heard a voice off to the side. And the voice said to me, you're fat and you're here, so you may as well sign up.
What?
And yeah,
wow.
I was 220 pounds.
Okay, that was very insulting, though.
That's boxing. That was my intro to boxing.
You're fat. You're here. You might as well sign up.
You may as well sign up. So, once I got out of my feelings about that, and I said, you know what, that voice was right. And I said, I'm going to give it 30 days, and I'm just going to see how I feel. Because at that point, up until then, I had become numb. And, when you're in a depressed state and you don't feel anything, that's a very dangerous place to be in, So I said, I'm going to...
Because you're going through the motions of life.
You're going through the motion, but you don't feel anything.
Right. It's just every day like a zombie.
Like a zombie. There's no emotions. There's no highs. There's no lows. There's just, okay, you just get up and you just repeat the same thing over. And there's no feeling. There's no heart in it, So I felt like I was really missing that. And I was losing myself in that. So I signed up. I said, I'm going to give it 30 days. I'm going to see what happens. So for me, it was really, really challenging because of, one, the state that I was in, and two, also because there were no women there. So going in, being brought in and introduced to my trainer, because that's how they did it back in the day. I started boxing 16 years ago. So, there weren't all the boxing fitness studios, and, there were just
now
gyms.
It's just like Soul Cycle and boxing and yoga.
Yeah.
It's a thing,
It's
right?
a thing.
Right.
I mean, it's a different thing. You know what I mean? So for me, it was, okay, let me do this. So I was brought over to my trainer because that's how they did it back in the day. And, he just looked at me. Oh, I got trained this woman. Yes, you do. Go get your fat ass on the treadmill.
That's what he said?
That's what he said. I said, okay, I guess that's what I'm supposed to do because I don't know any better. No one explained the rules to me. This is my first day. All right, I guess I have to listen to him because he's my trainer. So I went and I got on a treadmill. Now, keep in mind, 220 pounds. I hadn't exercised. I hadn't been moving. So it took me a good 20 minutes and like 18 seconds to run that first mile. And when it was a long time.
You were walking.
I was, well, in my mind,
Reese
I was.
that's a saunter.
In my mind, I was getting up, though. You know what I'm saying? So when I finished that mile and I walked over to him, he was like, just take your ass home. And I was like, that's it? Yeah, that's it. So I'm like, okay, I guess, this is what I'm going to do. This is the beginning of my training. I guess this is how they do it. I don't know. Went back the next day because I knew I had to make it my routine. I needed to give myself something to look forward to because the office, it was like, no, I need something else.
So this was your lunch break?
This was like at the evening, at the end of the day. I was like, this is my thing that I'm going to do for myself to just hopefully help get me out of this space that I'm in. The next day I went in. He sees me coming again. Like, damn, she came back. Yeah, she back. And I'm like, yeah. He's go get your ass on the treadmill. So I'm like, okay, I get it. I'm overweight, all that stuff. So when I'm on the treadmill, that's when I started watching. I started watching all the guys train. And I started watching, the trainers train the fighters. And I started watching their movements and, the mechanics of it and the beauty of it and the choreography of it. And in my mind, I was like, yes, I'm heavy. I'm overweight, dealt with weight issues my whole life. But I know I could move like that. I know I never have, but I feel that I can, So now I'm running, I'm on the treadmill, and I'm watching, and I'm studying, and I'm learning. And I'm like, okay, I'm taking all this in. I'm like, I'm going to do this. Get off the treadmill, go over to him, take your ass home. I was like, okay. So this went on for like 2 weeks. And I said, okay, I'm going to give it 30 days. I'm running out of time. Because, I didn't have the voice that I have now. You know what I mean?
So take me back to little Reese Scott. Where were you raised? Where were you?
Jersey. Out in the burbs in Jersey. Yeah.
The burbs. Where?
Middlesex County.
Okay.
Come on now. Yeah.
Well, there are burbs in Bergen County. There are burbs in Essex County. There are burbs.
I feel you.
Jersey is a burb.
Yeah,
it's one big burb.
It is one big burb.
With some hoods sprinkled in. So you were raised in a upperly mobile black home.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And you went to school and you did the thing you were supposed to do. You did everything you were supposed to do.
No, actually, I didn't do everything.
Okay.
I did it, but I did it.
You remixed it along the way.
I remixed it.
But
made
you
it
had
mine.
a regular job.
A regular job.
Okay. And you had 16 years ago high blood pressure?
Yeah.
16 years ago you had high cholesterol?
Yeah.
You were young.
I was.
Yeah, you were young. 16 years ago. We're just gonna say it. Nobody needs to know how old
No,
you
I
are.
don't. It is
Right.
what it is. Like listen, I'm a very honest person. I started boxing 16 years ago. Okay, I started boxing when I was 31 years old. I'm 47 years old. I look like I'm 27. I'm in the best shape of my life.